AEW World Heavyweight Championship, we finally have a new champion. It's Hangman Adam Page is back on top of the AEW mountaintop, and he had a lot of friends to help him do it. Sure, you knew there was going to be outside interference from the Death Riders, and John Moxley was going to pull all of the shenanigans, and they certainly did that. But you had some epic returns. These guys used glass, chains, tables, barbed wire chairs, and even a bed of nails. But it was really the outside interference that was key. You had the Death Riders, you had Prince Nana, Will Ospreay, who was stretchered out for whatever reason, and of course, the return of Darby Allin, someone who appeared on the video screen, sent Moxley a message saying that he was going to take everything from him, and then came down from the rafters like we are in WCW Nitro from 1997 with Sting all over again. You had some random guy jump into the ring with a Blue Panther mask on who hit a running knee and was doing the yes chants, who just so happened to be the Bryan Danielson, who got more physical than we've seen in, well, his last match. And it was in the end, it was Swerve Strickland coming down and laying out the Young Bucks with his chain before handing the chain to Hangman Adam Page. Page hitting the buckshot lariat, sending John Moxley flying on his back onto a bed of nails is how we concluded this year's AEW All In Texas pay-per-view event. It's something that AEW fans have been hoping, some even praying, that we would finally see the day that John Moxley and the Death Riders no longer ruled on top of AEW's mountaintop as a world heavyweight championship. It's the first time in over 270 days that I have seen the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. I forgot that it actually has a little silver to it, and it's not just all gold. It was an event. It was a long event, but in the end, it was AEW's biggest event of the year. And as AEW always does, they absolutely crush pay-per-view events. And AEW All In Texas was no different. Now let's talk about the rest of the show. As the co-main event, it was Okada, it was Kenny Omega, it was Continental versus International Champion for the Unified Championship, because we had two titles that are just basically useless, but whatever. We have a new champion. You knew going into this match they were going to have a very good match. You knew going into this match that the old Okada, the New Japan Okada, was going to show up. But you also had to temper your expectations. This is not 10 years ago. This is not New Japan. These are two older versions of Kenny Omega and Okada. I forget who said it on Twitter. Forgive me for not giving proper credit, but it was like seeing two middle-aged men who can still go out and perform their old moves, but they do so a little bit slower and suffering multiple injuries at once. That's basically what this match was. Very good, not great. We'll take it. So Toni Storm retains the AEW Women's Championship over Mercedes Moné. She hands Mercedes her first ever singles loss in AEW. This match I was so looking forward to, and I had high expectations for it because it is two of AEW's biggest stars. It was a situation where I would say the first half of the match, they didn't do a lot. It was kind of slow. It was plodding. And then the second half of this match started, and these women just went at it. They put on an incredible match, one of the best women's matches you will see in 2025 and in AEW history. So the hype definitely hit hard. And kudos to these two for going out there, putting on a show, and kudos for Tony Khan doing the right thing, having Mercedes put over Storm. Mercedes did not need to win that title, not yet, and it kind of shuts up the conspiracy theories that Monet refuses to lose in AEW. One of the more important segments on this show, one of the more important moments of this show was when it was AEW Tag Team Champions, the Hurt Syndicate. That's Bobby Lashley, that's Shelton Benjamin. They defended their championship successfully, I might add, against Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight and Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. Here's what you need to know. It was not the match, which was actually quite good, rightfully having Lashley, Benjamin go over, setting up a future feud with FTR, you kind of had a sense that there was going to be a potential return. And that's exactly what happened. After the match, FTR got in the face of Christian Cage before Nick Wayne turned on him, aligned himself with FTR, and then they went to beat down Christian Cage. They were going to concerto him, and it was Adam Copeland who ran out to make the save. He had a 2x4 with nails for whatever reason. He only used it in one spot. He picked up Cage and told him to go find himself. What's interesting about this is the background, the context of this story. Adam Copeland, aka Cope, he had been in a rivalry with FTR before going on hiatus. They are kicking this feud back up. We knew it was happening, and we knew that they were going to get to Copeland and Cage reuniting and taking on FTR. And many people suspected it being All Out in Toronto on August 24th, I believe. Right call, and I'm very curious to see what they do going forward. So, in a very emotional situation, Adam Cole had to vacate the TNT title. It was an announcement that made by Tony Khan beforehand. It was a fatal four-way match. It was Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia, and Kyle Fletcher duking it out for the vacant TNT title. Before the match, Adam Cole came out there, cut a promo, and it was very emotional, talking about how he doesn't even want to talk about retirement. He doesn't know what's going to be happening, but he has some health issues, and he's not going to be wrestling for a while. And he definitely implied that he's dealing with something very serious and potentially career ending. So all the best to him. He's been one of my favorites going back to ROH days, and he was just a phenomenal performer. So all the best of luck to him. It was Dustin Rhodes actually getting the surprise win, winning the AEW TNT title. So we'll see how they play this out. But it was a feel-good moment. It's in Texas. It's Dustin Rhodes. He's a freaking legend. I don't have a problem with it. It looks like Kyle Fletcher's going to win it from him anyway, so who cares? So MJF won the Casino Gauntlet match. This match sucked. It sucked. It never got going. The fans did not care outside of a handful of stars. Mark Briscoe was over. MJF was over. A returning Juice Robinson was over. Other than that, not a lot of over talent in this match, which did have Ricochet, Bandito, Takeshita, Anthony Bowens, Kota Ibushi, Beast Mortos, Josh Alexander, Anthony Bowens. There was Mystico. There was a lot of talent in there, but once again, this just shows kind of AEW's problem where they have a lot of talent, but not a lot of over talent. So MJF winning this match, earning himself a future World Heavyweight Championship opportunity. It was the right call. I hope that we are getting a little bit closer to a MJF World Championship run. Whether or not we will remains to be seen, but that was this match. It was quite something. The AEW Women's Gauntlet match was actually better than the men. It may have not had the exact star power that the men did, but honestly, I think these women just absolutely crushed it, hit it out of the ballpark, and did some fantastic business. There were several notable stars that appeared in the Gauntlet, such as Tekla, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, Megan Bain, Harley Cameron returned in her protective mask, Queen Aminata, Sky Blue, Mina Shawakara, Julia Hart, Cyru. There was a bunch of them. In the end, though, it was Athena going over with her finisher on Mina. Now, I am surprised that they actually pinned Mina here, but you had to pin someone. And losing to Athena right now, not the worst thing in the world by any means, especially for Mina. So Athena is 100% the right choice to have her win this match, have her go over, and have her eventually challenge for the AEW Women's Championship. The opener of this contest was, it was kind of lame. I'll be honest with y'all. It was the Ops, it was Samoa Joe, it was Shibata, and it was Powerhouse Hobb defending against the Death Riders. It was Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Gabe Kidd. Just there. It was just a there type of match. Not bad, not great, just there. It was Samoa Joe going over. He put away Wheeler Yuta because why wouldn't you beat Wheeler Yuta? But really, the main takeaway from this is what they did after the match, which is Samoa Joe getting laid out. He got a chair put around his neck, and Claudio stomped it because, well, that's just what heels do. and he was stretchered out. So it looks like this was a writing off Samoa Joe of television. So we'll see where it all plays out.